Boom. What is up, everybody?
What up?
And welcome into Studio Day Heffrey and Studio Day Jesse. I am, of course, the self-proclaimed greatest wide receiver in the history of Abilene Christian to never record an official statistic. And that is Jesse Holley, who, well, he played for the Cowboys, which is a little bit better, but just a little bit. Good morning, Jesse Holley. How are you, sir?
Good morning, brother. I know I said this in the pre-show, but what I say in private, sometimes I like to say in public. I love that shirt. I love that shirt. I do. Like this is not like a backhanded compliment, like a little slight, little, take a jab. I absolutely love that shirt.
It's linen. It's linen.
That's an amazing.
I discovered I'm a linen man. I discovered that 2 weeks ago. I'm a linen guy.
And linen is a great fabric because you get away with the wrinkles in linen because people know that you really can't keep wrinkles out of linen. So they don't kind of challenge you or charge you up as much if it was a cotton or some other fabric. But linen gets away with the heavy wrinkle, and you go, no, don't. You're going too many buttons up. You gotta let that
down. Take it down. Take it down. Take it down.
Take it down. Quick question, right? This is outside of football. What in your life goes faster right now? What in your life goes faster right now? Once you break $100 bill or the gas in your car? What goes faster? What do you think goes faster?
I don't really carry cash, but if I broke $100 bill, that would go faster than the tank of gas. Tank of gas is going to last me 5 to 7 days. If I break 100, that money will be gone in 48 hours.
Wow.
I go to bars, dude.
That's the life that you live now. Like you live the home life where gas lasts you 5 to 7 days now.
Yeah, sometimes longer. But I also live the life where at least twice a week, I'm going to meet somebody somewhere and I'm going to spend $70 a pop at the bar. So that 100 is going to go real fast, Jesse. Right. And that's why we are looking for super chats. Yes. I've spent money I don't have. What was that last week? A couple weeks ago, I spent money I don't have.
Yep.
And so, we count on y'all to just
help us. I went to the dentist this morning. That bill is coming. So Please help us. Help us pay for the lavish life that we are trying to live. Please, we're begging you.
I've been making poor decisions. Poor decisions left and right.
And gas is high. And I need a linen shirt. Like, no, the golf clubs, right? They weren't stolen.
I thought my golf clubs were stolen, but I never used the word stolen because I wasn't sure. I said they were not in my car.
Bobby, they weren't stolen, Bobby.
And so I thought somebody had probably stolen my golf clubs because I was on my way to go golf with our buddy Shippy, who's the DJ for the Stars and the Mavericks. I'm on my way to go golf with Shippy, and I popped the trunk, and there's no golf clubs, and I went, well, shit, that's not good. So I shot a 95 with some rental clubs out there in Irving, which is pretty impressive, according to me. But then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, there's two options. One, it's gone. Two, the last time I golfed was at Trinity Forest down in Dallas, with name drop with the greatest Texas Ranger of all time, Michael Young.
Love Michael.
And let me tell you how Trinity Forest works. Trinity Forest is a nice course. So like you have to be a member. And so Michael Young is a member. So he hosted me and the two people who won a charity auction to play with us to benefit my friends at NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And so at the nice courses, they have you drop your clubs when you pull up.
Ooh.
Like you don't go park and carry your clubs in. You drop them at the curb, and the servant employees.
Don't say that.
What?
They're not the servants.
It sure seems like it. Like they're
not the servants.
Like they ask, "Can I rub your feet?"
Let's find a better word to use than servants. Let's find the caddy handlers.
The caddy people, clubby folks. The caddy clubby folks. But whatever, they're basically it's high school kids that are probably making way more money than I would think. But anyway, so you just drop your clubs, you go park your car, you come on out, you do what you got to do, and your clubs are waiting on your cart, and you go play golf, you come back, and I was taking them off of the cart, and I was like, all right, I'll see you guys later. And they were like, oh no, oh, sir, it's like you're at Chick-fil-A, but a golf course. Like, sir, you will not carry anything.
But see, that's the game. See, at the end of the day, when we take them out the car for you and then bring them back for you, at the end of the day, it's like you do a little hand like this,
Yeah.
because those high school kids are like, hey, 10, 15, $20 tip at the end of the day for carrying your golf clubs to and from. You do that enough times a day, you walk out of there with some nice scratch.
Yeah, you don't get a tip though if the guy forgets all about his clubs. So I went to carry him to my car, and they were like, "No, sir, no, sir. Of course, God bless you. No, you will take care of that. We'll have him sitting right there on the curb for you. You go get the car, and on your way out, we'll get those in the car for you."
You just kept
And so
driving.
what happened was I wasn't used to that treatment, so I walked to my car, got in my car, and drove home. Which means that my clubs were just sitting on the curb at Trinity Forest, and then eventually they put them back somewhere else. I called up there, and I was like, "Hey, I leave my clubs up there," and they're like, "There are a lot of clubs here. Can you describe?" And I was like, "Sure." And they checked and they had them. So my golf clubs are not stolen. Mazith in the super chat, thank you. That will help pay for part of my linen Amalfi Coast Positano lemon linen shirt. But Cowboys stuff, Cowboys stuff. The only things that I've been looking at, Jesse, that have interested me over the last week or so is we're creeping up on camp here in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I'll be out there. When the execs start ranking position groups, I get a kick out of it, or I find it interesting. And so, like, they did their linebackers, and Micah Parsons, second best linebacker in the league, and they did their corners, where Trevon Diggs, 10th best corner in the league. So those are really the only two things that I've seen that are like, man, these are worth actually talking about. And then you sent me notes where you're like, hey, I want to talk about Micah Parsons. So here's Jesse Holley to talk about Micah Parsons.
No, it's funny that you said that, because when I sent it to you were the exact same two people who they talked about, who I want to talk about. But here's my thing with Micah. And let me preface this, Booty Nasty, before.
There's nothing to hate on with Micah.
You
cannot, if you do any hating on Micah Parsons today, I swear on everything.
I'm not hating on Micah Parsons. I love Micah. We actually had a conversation the other day. He was looking for a gym. He chose Jew's Perfect Gym over my gym, but that's fine. I was trying to get some run in. He's ducking me. That's cool. That's fine. But I love Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is a dog, elite. I think he's going to be. But the thing that I've been kind of thinking about when it comes to Micah Parsons, because at times when covering the Cowboys, things can kind of get a little bit overblown. And I'm not saying that Micah Parsons is overblown. What I am saying is, are we setting the expectation bar so high for Micah Parsons that it's almost unattainable? Because we're putting so much on, he's the best linebacker in the league, he's the best player in the league, and he's the best this in the league, and all these things. And it's like, do we get to a point where, and we're seeing this a little bit now with Zeke, a lot of it is because of the contract, but it happens in pro sports all the time. And it's a saying from Batman, and it's you either die, you live long enough, you die.
You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Right. You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And so we're building these things up for Micah Parsons, and it's like, what happens? Because believe it or not, while I do think Micah Parsons is an elite level caliber of player, what will happen is he will be played differently. There is no more surprise. Micah, I don't know if you know this or not, you won't surprise the National Football League this year. Every defensive coordinator has been preparing for you since February. Also, Micah Parsons, when it comes, because he's saying 15 sacks, and I'm like, oh, that's great, that's phenomenal. But at the end of the day, we kind of got to look at it somewhat of, you were able to rush the passer more last year because of the freak injuries, because of injuries to Tank, because of suspensions to Randy. And so there were opportunities throughout the year where you had to go and play a rush in and to give yourself those opportunities. I just think, are we setting the bar so high that if he doesn't attain it, we're like, now we're like pointing the finger like, you're the villain now, Micah?
Maybe for some people, I think it's actually perfect for the two guys that we're going to talk about today, because I think one of them, in my mind, there is no way he'll underachieve. I know exactly what he is. He's going to be that every year until he hurts himself in some way. Like Micah Parsons is a freak show. I don't care what your plan is. You can't block him. I don't care what your plan is. Your running back can't outrun him. I don't care what like Micah Parsons is a freak show. Trevon Diggs is the one that I wonder, like, it's very possible that this year he has 3 or 4 picks instead of 11 and gives up plays. And we look back and go, oh, Trevon Diggs is a, decent, solid starter. Like, I don't think that's going to happen to him either. I think that he'll continue to be who he is and continue to get better and be really, really good. But I think that conversation could at least happen with him. Micah Parsons, I just think that's who he is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, because the only thing you can do about it is stop him. And I don't know the human who can. So like you can say, hey, anytime he lines up on the edge, we're going to change our blocking scheme and make sure that we got 2 dudes there, or we're going to you can do whatever you want to do. But yeah, I think Micah from pretty much day one was the best linebacker in football. If you go by pass rush win rate, he's the best pass rusher in football. And so, like, saying those words is setting something real, real lofty. But Mike is going to be a massive, impactful player playing defense that is damn near singular in the NFL. And he's going to be that for a decade. Like, I have zero worries about anything. And maybe that'll make me the problem. Because, yeah, put the bar as high as you want. He's a freak show. Yeah, I ain't worried about it.
But honestly, like, 10 sacks for linebackers, like that's not a consistently real thing, right?
No, but he's the only linebacker in the league that rushed as many times as he did. Like he was doing, and the way he talked about this offseason makes me think they're going to do it again, because he is. This is wild ass, but he's talking about the record. He's talking about 23. Like he's talking about like he's going to be rushing the passer all the time, which he's not.
He's not,
but he will plenty.
I think you will see a significant less amount of edge rush, like lining up Micah at the edge this year than you will last year. Because again, we're talking about him doing that last year out of necessity, right? It started out as almost like, you know what? Let's throw this Micah thing against the wall and see if it sticks. And holy hell, what do we have here? And so there was no rush to, it was like, hey, if Randy comes back, he comes back. I mean, if Tank comes back, he comes back. And when Randy comes back, we'll fill him in. And that's the thing. It was like, and I know people saying, well, Randy's gone. Well, that's why they went and they drafted a guy. They brought in Dante Fowler. They brought in other guys to supplement that role, because they're not looking for Micah to be a legit every down edge rushing dude. Yes, I think in spurts, in spots, absolutely. But significantly, unless there's another major injury and Tank is out or whatever, but you brought guys in specifically for those roles, right? You brought Sam Williams, you drafted Sam Williams, you brought in Fowler, you brought in a bunch of guys specifically for the rush edge situation. So I just think by simple mathematics, if you're rotating Sam, and again, this is barring any injury, anything like that, but if you're rotating Sam, Fowler, Lawrence, Dorrance, Armstrong, and all those guys, just by opportunity, the numbers will decrease.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. Here's my thing though, is I think there's 2 things. There's only one thing I think that could stop Micah from rushing the passer a bunch, and that's if your linebackers suck. Because like right now, if Micah isn't lined up at linebacker, then who is? Leighton Vander Esch and Jabril Cox? And when Jaron Kearse plays linebacker, so like that's the only thing that I worry about is what if they don't have enough decent linebackers that he has to play too much linebacker? Because I don't care about Dorrance Armstrong. I don't care about Dante Fowler. I don't care about Sam Williams, because none of you can do what he can do. That might be the position that you play. Not one of you, even on your best day while you're having a wet football dream, can rush the passer like Micah can. So I don't care. He's going to get to do it a bunch, and you guys can watch.
So here's my earthly way of seeing how much people really believe what they say. So you're believing the 15 plus sacks for Micah Parsons, yes?
I'll do steak dinner bet on double digits easy. I won't pick 15, but I bet he has 10 to 12 or 13 again.
No, pick a number. Let's because that's where I'm going next.
I would set Micah's sack number at 11 and a half.
I'll take it.
Okay. What do I have? CD getting 1,300?
No.
What am I? Or was it 12? I have to go back and listen.
Well, somebody will let us know. Somebody will let us know.
Somebody will let us know. But I'd say 11 and a half. Hold on. Let me get to these super chats and let me pay the bills in the other way real quick. Michael, appreciate you in the super chat. Micah is an elite company. Lamar, I got shanked by the butter knife. Love you guys. Micah stated he knows teams will scheme for him. So by him not changing his body this offseason can mean more mental growth. Samuel, Jesse's a hater. Let us have some hope and joy. Bowie, is Jesse actually finding a way to hate on Micah? Yeah. Matter of fact, he is. Now, before Jesse can defend himself, I want to say thanks to our partners at Bet Online, who we love so much. And they continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Maybe go see what the over-under is on CeeDee Lamb's receiving yards or Micah Parsons sacks and go over with me or under with Jesse. Because I don't care. You don't have to be a homer or a hater. You just have to make money. I just want you to win.
Yeah.
All the latest odds, news, sports developments, MLB going, fighting news, next season's NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. The only thing that stops Micah Parsons from getting double-digit sacks is if your linebackers suck and he has to play linebacker. And even in that scenario, if Dan Quinn's smart, he would say, whatever, we're going to have a bad linebacker on the field, and Micah Parsons is going to sack the quarterback.
Shout out to our guy, Skywalker Steele. And Sky said, Micah can still be effective blitzing from the A and B gap. And I'm not. Trust me, Sky, we'll have enough time to argue when we do our deal later on in the season, pre and post game show. But I'm not hating on Micah Parsons. I love everything about Micah Parsons. I really do. I love his enthusiasm.
Oh, this is the compliment sandwich. Yeah.
No. I love everything about him. I don't want him to become the villain because we know how we do good players. We love them. We love them. Some of you slurp them. Not my technique, not what I want to go with, not my mode of celebration. But some of you want to slurp them. And I'm fine with that. You do what you do in the community or wherever you want to do that in. All I'm saying is I don't want Micah to become the villain right now. Because people are going to say, oh, well, we didn't do,
No, but here's the thing. I don't think he can be. Okay, this just popped in my head, but I don't think he can be. Because if he's not used as a pass rusher as much and he ends up with like 7 sacks because he's just playing linebacker and running around tackling running backs and like – who people are actually going to get mad at is suddenly Dan Quinn won't be untouchable.
No, because
here's what Dan Quinn, they'll be like, he didn't use Micah right. Micah's amazing. Why didn't you use Micah right?
Here's what happened. Because you're the hero. Like, and I don't want to keep using Zeke as a reference, but I'm going to use Zeke as a reference. You're a hero until your time to get paid comes up. That's when the villainous stuff comes in the play.
That's 2 years away from Micah.
That's counting this season.
He's going to play this year and next year before he can even get paid.
Yeah. So when that comes into play and people go, oh, well, see, he's going to want big money later on, and now he only got 7 sacks. We're supposed to have this. We're supposed to have that. That's the only part when I say, are we setting the expectations far too lofty for Micah Parsons?
That's what Steven's going to say. Steven's going to be like, well, now at the end of the day, linebacker is not the most valuable position. And he's like, that'll be Steven. But smart people will know. Diggs is the one that's going to have to deal with it. Diggs is the one who, after this season, Trevon Diggs is going to have to deal with that because then Stephen Jones is going to start doing the thing where it's like, and love the plays that he does make. But, you also see the yards allowed. And it's just like, I don't care. Dude, I don't care. Like, you have a really good player, pay your really good player, and Diggs is going to have to deal with that this offseason. He's going to have to deal with the Cowboys behind the scenes starting to feed journalists negative crap about him to see if they can get him for cheaper. They won't get him for cheaper, and then eventually they'll have to overpay for him because they suck at negotiating. Like, that's coming up after this season.
Now, this is what I call that was a fantastic tease to the place that we're going to next. Fantastic teams.
Oh,
fantastic.
well, I'm a professional, or I was. I used to be.
Yeah. What we want to talk about is Trevon Diggs. Recently, Trevon Diggs came out. He and his brother, Stefon Diggs, wide receiver at the Buffalo Bills, came out and they're on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and their whole journey has kind of been watched throughout. Of course, Stefon comes in the league first, and then Trevon comes in after, and he has a spectacular year last year. Tied the interception record. What do you have? 12, 13 last year? What do you have?
Wait, who was that? Trevon?
Trevon. What did he?
I think he had 11.
11, wherever it was, right? And so, in this article, and most people are talking about now, like, hey, will Steph and Trevon ever play together? Will these two join forces? Will these two, combine their talents, one offensively, one defensively, and play together? And so recently in that interview, Stefon Diggs kind of alluded to. He said that would be great. It would happen, and he kind of says, "Yeah, I'm staying here in Buffalo." But maybe one day
I'd love to play together, but I'll be here. So
right, he's like, I'm here. I'm in Buffalo. I'm staying here in Buffalo. But maybe one day that we'll be able to join forces. And then my mind began to kind of do this weird little thing where I started thinking of situations and scenarios. And I say to myself, to your great point, Jeff, Trevon Diggs is coming to the table after next season. Mm-hmm. He's coming to the table and he's saying, hey, here's what I've done in the last, because honestly, 11 is so far-fetched to do a back-to-back 11. If he does back-to-back 11 interception season, you're going to have to pay him $30 million a year.
I bet his number will be 6 or 7.
Yeah. So, but 5,
which is still a huge number.
Which is if you get 5, 6, that's a huge number, right? Yeah. So he's going to come to the table, and like you said earlier, we all think Steven is horrible at negotiating. But now, in the event that a team like Buffalo makes another deep playoff run and they actually get over the hump and make it to a Super Bowl, right? Von Miller comes in and he gives them that last bit of Super Bowl pedigree they needed to get over the hump. And now they get to a Super Bowl, and God forbid they win a Super Bowl. Could you look at a situation where Trevon looks around and he says, you know what, guys? We don't have the roster makeup to make a significant, serious run for a Super Bowl. My brother, who's going to be, of course, Buffalo's, he's going to be a huge advocate for Buffalo, is going to say, hey, little bro, not only can you come to a franchise where we're going to the playoffs consistently and just won a Super Bowl, or we've been to the Super Bowl, whatever, but you can also play opposite of another all-pro corner in White. And now you two can be the new lockdown corner. We can live together. We can share. We can have bunk beds and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, hell yeah. All the room for activities.
Yeah. And they lowballing you over there in Dallas anyway. So these are the things that are coming to my mind, and I'm saying, is it a possibility that if the duo does connect, that they connect in Buffalo?
Sure. I think the only thing that stops that is kind of the reality of how things go in the NFL, which is if the team wants you, they're going to keep you for at least 5 years. Because, you're going to come to the table after this season, and they are too, because they're going to be like, dude, because the Cowboys, here's the thing, they will, because all they do is screw themselves. Like, even with Dak, they didn't want to pay what the market said they had to pay. They know corner's important, and they know Diggs is good. So they'll want to keep him, but they'll do what they do. They'll try to win the negotiation. They'll end up losing the negotiation massively and having to way overpay him later. But, you could have a bad negotiation after this season, and they'd just be like, oh, okay, well, we'll see you when you get here for your 4th year. And then after that, when it's like, all right, free agency, they'd be like, yeah, I know we still can't agree. So we're actually just going to franchise tag you one time. So yeah, I think if they want to play together, then ultimately they will, but it might be as long as the Cowboys want Trevon Diggs, it's 1, 2, 3, at least 3 seasons away, because you can keep guys as long as you want with them tags. And if they love him, which I'm sure they do, they will. I'd wait a year or two and let's see if Stefon still loves Buffalo. It's cold up there. It's cold
I
up
mean,
there.
like Stefon. Now, granted, he played indoors in Minnesota. Like he's literally played all of his professional career in miserably cold places.
Yeah,
Like,
terrible.
he
That
played in
sucks.
Minnesota and Buffalo. Like there probably aren't two other colder NFL cities than those two. Like combined, Green Bay, maybe Pittsburgh at times, but Buffalo and Minnesota, like Minnesota is bone chilling cold.
Oh, we went there for a Super Bowl, and I set foot outside once to get an Uber. Once.
Yeah.
Because it was that miserable. Like our hotel was inside the Mall of America. I went outside once because people wanted to go to dinner. And I was like, okay, I'll put on every layer I have and I'll run to the Uber. Like that was all I did. That was all I went outside. Now he's gonna end up wanting to be a Cowboy. I wonder when this runs out because like Von Miller's from here. And so he even said, like, yeah, I would have played for less for the Cowboys, but not that much less. But I wonder when that runs out because like Micah Parsons wanted to be drafted by the Cowboys, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all as a person who is 30. I'm 38 now. I like 20-year-olds. They can't love the Cowboys. They can't. Like, what is still the draw? I know what the draw was. What is it now? It's just the name.
It's the TV. It's the TV. It's when you're on the outside looking in. And you see, like, dog, they on TV every week. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said earlier, everything about Dallas is always blown up to epic proportions. So when you're on the outside looking in and you're looking at a team, and believe it or not, like a guy like Micah, where he's from, he's still on that East Coast kind of love for that East Coast. But there's a lot of love for Dallas on the East Coast as a Jersey guy. Like,
which is really weird because that's where all your division rivals are.
I know it's a weird thing, but like Pennsylvania and Jersey and New York and I mean you've been to Washington games and people in the DMV. There's this and a lot of it sometimes has to do with people go to those certain places when they're like in the naval situation. But there's a ton of love for Dallas in those East Coast cities, man. And so they see it from the outside looking in, and it's like, man, this looks great. The stadium looks great. They're on all the commercials. They're in everything. They're always on ESPN. Like the conversation is always about the Dallas Cowboys in every form of fashion that you look. So guys like Micah Parsons look at him like, man, I want to be drafted by Dallas because I want to go where I saw on TV all the time.
Yeah. DJ's World said if they had to choose between Trevon and CD, they're taking CD, right? Interceptions or not, right? I think so.
Yeah. The Cowboys are always going to be offensive minded.
Offense is sexier than defense. And now they actually do. I bet the Cowboys are super happy about the two guys that they do have on defense now because sacks, this is going to sound strange. Just earmuff it for me, guys. Sacks are sexy. It's a weird sentence, but in football words, it's true. Interceptions are sexy. So the Cowboys do have two sexy defenders, but
you're the guy that sacks are overrated. You were on the sacks were overrated when Tank Lawrence was once the hero.
No. Holding, like if a dude gets pressures, plays the run well, affects the game in every way, and like literally you give up a yard less per play when he's on the field, then if he has 7 sacks and not 11, I don't care. He's worth $20 million. In that way, yes, they're overrated. But I'm talking about from the Cowboys' perspective, who do they want to keep? They want to keep Zeke because they think that's sexy. Like they think, hand the ball to 21. Woo, we're tough. That's sexy. Like, and in that way, for Jerry and Steven, Trevon Diggs catching the football, boy, that's sexy. Micah Parsons tackling quarterbacks, that's sexy. But none of that sexy compares to a wide receiver catching touchdowns, especially when you have him wearing number 88. That's sexy.
Because then that comes into a thing that we all talk about when it comes to the Cowboys. It's that business part of the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. It's that thing of a little bit outside of the whole realm of, hey, we want to actually win games for real, and really compete for a championship. Or I may get a little bit more horny when they say that I'm still the richest franchise in the league, and I have the top every year. I have the top attendance in the league, and every year we sell the most merch in the league. So I think sometimes when you look at that, it's like, yeah, we want to win. When it's cool,
But we don't want to win so much that
Right.
we're going to replace ourselves with more capable people.
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
I
Yes.
want to win, but much like me, when I used to play the franchise mode in Madden, I also want to win with me in charge.
Right.
But
That's
we're going to do
always
it my way and win.
That's not always the key. But eventually, that this whole thing will come around. Now, it may be 40 years. It may be 50 years. My good friend Jeffrey Cavanaugh, we may not be here.
Sir.
I'm just saying, to see this thing happen. That's what the great Martin Luther King says. He says, I may not be here when that thing happens. We may not be here. You don't want to, listen, guy, you may not want to believe this. We are both knocking at the door of 40. And before you know it,
we're halfway there, man.
No, we're more than halfway there, my brother.
Easy.
We're more than halfway there. Soon we'll be 50. We'll be 50.
That's when I'll be halfway there.
We're marching closer to the grave.
I'm day 18, no tobacco. I'm gonna live till I'm 100 now. I'm killing
it. Let's go.
And I got linen. I got a haircut and a linen shirt. I'm gonna live forever.
So we may not see it one day, but one day they'll get back to the promised land, and they'll be Super Bowl champs again. I don't know when.
Maybe the world.
And Jerry's gonna. I'm willing to bet that Jerry outlives all of us.
I'm willing to take that bet, and I'm not going to make my prediction because that is incredibly insensitive. But I'll tell you off the air my prediction. And I do wonder: do you think it'll get better or worse when Jerry's not part of it?
Is it a Jones still in charge? It has to be. It has to be two Jones removed.
Jesus.
It has to be two Jones removed.
They live hard. Okay, we got to go. That's it. No, okay. That is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. Yeah, they do though. They live hard.
We're talking about Shy. We're talking about what's my man name at Arkansas?
You're just hyping up more levels of entitlement. It ain't gonna get better.
I'm hoping that sometimes this is probably a horrible. This is probably a horrible reference, but I'm going to use it anyway.
Perfect.
You know how people like the older people who were super duper racist back in the day?
Yeah.
And their grandkids are like, no, granddad, that's wrong. We are not living that way. And I'm
going to hire a football guy, daddy.
You know what I'm saying? And so those kids are probably going to be like, no, we just want to travel on the yacht and fly on the G5. We don't really want to be at the start every single day, great granddad. So what we're going to do is, we're going to just let this money roll in, and we're going to let other people do it, actually, because we're like, what are they now? Like gen? I don't even know what gen they are, but we're not into that whole micromanaging thing, and we don't really want to be a part of this business because we've seen this business at the family for the last 50 years. So we're going to just hire some folks to do it who know a little bit more than we do, and we're going to collect and benefit from the work that you put in. We're gonna do that.
I don't want people to hate me like they hated you, Grandpa.
Yeah, no, Granddad. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna try to, elude the fentanyl lace stuff and just have a good time and watch football and let someone else do it.
I saw a way to define our generation now because I forgot what they're called. Technically, I think you and I are elder millennials or geriatric millennials. But I saw it referred to today in a tweet as the Spice Girls generation. And the reference point was the Spice Girls generation, and that's us, is the only generation that has lived pretty much their whole life with the internet, but also has memories of how it worked without it. Like, that's us, the Spice Girls generation.
That is us.
That's us. That's Jesse Holley, former Cowboys wide receiver. He'll have some parting shots for you. I just want to tell you that, remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. I love you. Bye. And shout out to Jesse, who the last few weeks, I have loved some of the tweets you've been sending out that are incredibly positive. And I've seen people respond to them saying they literally helped them that day. So
that's what we're here for. Eliminate the contingencies. I love